You're listening to a Rock Candy podcast.
Hi, I'm Peter Santiscano. I host Bubble and Squeak here on the Rock Candy Network. I tell personal, revealing stories. She whispered, "Did you just masturbate?" Because I felt a terrible presence of evil enter the... I make prank phone calls to the past.
Heimbach. General Store, Elijah Heimbach speaking. How may I help?
And to the future. Because my boyfriend and I are just not having enough sex.
Always a problem with the butt sex. Yes,
You just have to listen to it. It's too hard to describe. Check out Bubble and Squeak wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey everybody, this is Reese Roper, one of your hosts here at the Joe and Reese's Pickle and Boot Shop, a diabolical brainwashing machine. Every week I do a disclaimer before we do the show, and this week is no different. The disclaimer this week includes the following. First of all, we mess up what episode it is. We say it's episode 23, which maybe it is, but I lost the other episodes. And then we had one episode where we talked about going to hotels, and that was lost. And we had to redo it. It's hard keeping track. Anyway, at one point I claimed to eat a trombone mouthpiece. That never really happened. Joe and I both say the phrase holy crap, but I want to emphasize that we say holy, W-H-O-L-L-Y, crap. Did I spell that right? Crap. We talk about Johnny Sacco for the 42nd episode. And we talk about butt gum and eating butt gum. Joe sings Gary, Indiana, which actually is not bad. He could audition for a version of The Music Man in your town if you're having auditions. So I hate almost every single state, and I talk about it. Is this song still going? Here it's going still. Okay, thanks everybody. The Pickle and Boot Shop. I hope you hate it.
Joe and Reese, Pickle and Boot Shop. Get yourself a pickle. Get yourself a boot. Joe and Reese, Pickle and Boot Shop. Pickle time is happening. Pickle time. I go down to get some pickles.
With your grandma and your kids.
I go downtown.
With your grandma and your kids.
Boot time. Pickle and boot time. Don't be fickle, get your pickle cider, pop a nickel in your boots. Not a place of ill repute. Bring your grandma and your kids. Come for the pickles, stay for the squids.
Pickle and boot shop.
Stay for the squids. Boots.
Yeah, pickle time.
Put that pickle in your pants. Get some boots inside your hands. Put that pickle in your pants. Get some boots inside your hands.
1996, we start this.
I love that because you can't tell how bad my rhythm is. You're just like, man, that's lag. But really, that's how it is.
It's just
what it's-
white. It's just white privilege.
That's white privilege. That's what Five Iron Frenzy basically is. If that's the only reason people are just like, wow, we'll let that guy be up there still because he's a white male.
Right.
Well, we'll let him
If Five Iron
do
knew
some
it was
cultural
good for him,
appropriation.
yeah. If Five Iron knew it was good for him, they would have replaced the lead singer with a black dude, the horn section with. Well, you already got a Latino in the horn section,
Latina.
but Brad and Dennis would be gone.
Those guys are super honkies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to say the least. To say the very least. Well, I hope the listening public has enjoyed the banter if this makes it on. But let's welcome everybody to another episode of the Pickle and Boot Shop, episode number 20.
Who would have thunk we
Who
would
would've
make it this far? Joe, my picture-in-picture is usually a picture of me, but it's a picture of you. So I can look at you, and then when I look over to see if I have an immaculately coiffed hairdo.
Yeah,
It's
salad.
You again, and then I'm like, oh, I'm good looking.
Oh,
But it's really you.
oh. Well, I do what
Mm-hmm.
I can. I do what I can.
Yeah.
So if you need to take a moment to fire one off because of these extremely good looks, feel
Squeak
Just-
out a couple knuckle children.
just have at it, and then clean the slate, and then you'll be focused.
While we're talking about looks, I want you to ponder this beard that I have right now.
I always do.
Thank you. This is my thought. Where I live, this is very appropriate, very culturally sensitive.
Okay.
I kind of look like if I had a Union Army uniform, I could be in a Civil War reenactment and be
Yeah.
Ulysses S. Grant.
Yes.
Just this.
Or the fife player.
Well, hear me out though, because the fife player won't work for this. I want to go to the regional speedway, which is 2 towns over in Waynesboro.
Okay.
They have like sub-level NASCAR things, and I think it would be funny to everyone if I just come down from the stage, like from the stands, while the race is going on, go to the middle of the field, but dressed as Ulysses S. Grant, and flipping everyone off.
Yeah. And
With both
screaming that you're
fingers.
from the future.
I'm from the future.
I'm Ulysses S. Grant from the future.
I'm
They'll be
back
like,
to remind you you lost.
I've already been taken from the past, brought to the future, and now I'm back to the future.
Back. Put
I'm
up some
telling-
statues of me.
I'm telling you to marry your mother so you don't disappear. Just completely.
Then they would know.
Yeah. And they'd be like, well, I guess that's how we became kin. I guess that's how my mom and my sister done be kin.
There is. I feel bad because when I'm here and I'm driving around and stuff, I'm like, that's the first place my mind goes. Like, this is
Yeah.
why it's like this. People need to leave their cousins alone.
Yeah.
Just leave them alone. There's plenty of other people that aren't your cousins you could go on a date with.
There's plenty other family members in the sea. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you can leave your cousins alone. Plenty other family in the sea.
I'm taking a picture of us to send my mom because
Oh, that's nice.
she's wondering what I'm doing. She also said to me yesterday in the car, she said, Reese, I really don't like it when you say holy C-R-A-P.
Oh.
And I was like, what? Crap? She goes, yes, but the Lord is holy, and I don't like it when you say holy C-R-A-P. She said, I would rather you say fuck.
Oh. You're like, but it's holy Wholey.
Yeah, Mom, you misread that. I'm not saying the crap is without flaw.
Yeah, its entirety.
It's perfectly flawless in its entirety. I'm
Yeah.
saying the entirety of the crap.
Yeah.
Which
the
is flawed.
The wholeness of the crap. That's
Especially
what
if
I'm
it's
talking.
mine, it's flawed. There's gonna
Yeah.
be some 14-year-old pieces of corn in there.
Oh yeah, maybe some hair. Maybe some hair or a tooth, an old tooth that you swallowed.
Tooth, an old
was-
trombone mouthpiece.
And that was stuck in your appendix and just happened to jiggle loose and get out of there.
Yeah.
A big
Sometime-
wad of gum.
Sometimes you get hungry on stage and you just
wanna
eat
hear a
the nearest
story?
thing.
You want to hear a story about a giant wad of gum? So
Yes,
I'm-
I do, Joe.
So the insiders, we were playing a show with Johnny Sacco. And Johnny Sacco had driven up. We played the Majestic Theater in downtown Detroit. It's a great old theater. And it was so Johnny Sacco, from their drive from Bloomington, Indiana to Detroit, they had all been chewing gum. They bought a ton of gum and were chewing
like a big league chew.
tons of gum. And the whole trip, like the whole 4-hour trip, they made sure that they ate all this gum, and then they would chew it for whatever, 10 minutes, spit it out, and stick it together in this big ball. So when Johnny Sacco gets to
Oh, my
Detroit,
Lord.
they have this cantaloupe size wad of chewed gum.
Lord.
Yeah. And so they have this wad of chewed gum. And they say, oh, this thing just said, oh no, it doesn't say stop recording. It's still recording. So anyway, you guys, they have this giant cantaloupe size wad of chewed gum, and they called it the monkey brain of love. And so they were going to give the monkey brain of love to the best dancer. So they play the song that is for the best dancer. Well, Royce Nunley from the Suicide Machines and also later of Insider's fame, he wins the monkey brain of love from his dancing. Now, mind you, he's dancing naked. So him and the lead singer from another ska band called Telegraph, the lead singer of Telegraph and Royce decided to take their clothes off and dance. So
that's how you win a dance competition,
Yeah,
ladies
so
and
they
gentlemen.
win-
in any arena. Square
Yeah.
dance, foxtrot, cha-cha.
do it.
Do it naked.
So they get called up on stage, and they're now holding their junk on stage like naked. Actually, at this point, I think they put their clothes on.
Okay.
At least they're boxers. So they're on stage. Royce gets presented with the monkey brain of love, and he also brought, I believe his name is Jeff from Telegraph.
Okay.
Brings Jeff up on stage with him. So he gets presented with the monkey brain of love, or they both did. Somehow they're both up there. So he holds this cantaloupe size ball of chewed gum, the monkey brain of love, above his head. And at this moment, what's his name? Jeff drops trow, pulls his pants back down, turns around, moons the audience, at which point Royce jams the monkey brain of love into Jeff's rectum. So Jeff is taken by surprise with this giant wad of gum now shoved in his butt crack. He, in going with the joke, the long play, he pulls the monkey brain of love out of his butthole and shoves it in his own mouth. Oh my God. So now there has been this monkey brain of love that was created by 6 ska bandmates that has been sitting there, that's already been chewed gum, that has now been shoved into a butthole, taken out, shoved into his own mouth. Then he pulls it out. Royce takes it out of his hand and then shoves it in his mouth. So Royce Nunley ultimately, at the end of the day, had the last laugh and won this monkey brain of love that he shoved in his friend's butthole, that then went into his friend's mouth, and then he put in his mouth.
I feel like anyone that could put that on their resume, no matter what job they're applying for, I would hire them. I would just be like, obviously,
You've shown me a lot of go get 'em.
you have a lot of go get them. Like you can handle this. Like what we do, cleaning out porta potties. This is going to be a cakewalk to you, buddy.
Yeah, we sell
You're
insurance. You're hired.
You're hired. Fixing the broken McDonald's ice cream machine. Yes, you're
Dunzo.
on board, dude.
Yep, you got it. This is all you. In fact, would you like my job?
You're the
Yeah,
CEO.
I think I found my replacement.
Oh my gosh.
So you guys, with that story, and that wasn't even a paid story. That was a freebie. That's what we do here on the Pickle and Boot Shop. We hook you up with this great stuff. You guys,
I need to point out that almost every episode, Joe, we have one of us has brought Johnny Sacco of Bloomington, Indiana up. And we need to keep this going.
They're a
we
great
need a Johnny
band.
Sacco revival.
You guys, if you have never heard Johnny Sacco, they are a fantastic band. They are the Midwest equivalent of Five Iron Frenzy. So they used to dress up. They used to go nuts. They used to just, like I said, they were the Midwest version of Five Iron. And so they are such a fun band. Their first album is called Oh, I Do Hope It's Roast Beef. That is that's a fantastic album with such great hits as Madame Blavatsky, Bitch Stole My Hat. And actually, you know what? I'm wrong. That's their second album. Their first album is Bova Aquarium. And with such amazing songs as My Vasectomy, Cows Are Fun, and what's another big hit off of that? I forget. And then their second one is Oh, I Do Hope It's Roast Beef. Every song on there nails it. And then their follow-up is called Full Trucker Effect, with such amazing songs as Feeling More Like David Hasselhoff Every Day.
Wonderful song.
Yeah. It didn't get the critical acclaim that it should have. Still very, very good. So you guys check out Johnny Sacco. We're even going to tag him and hashtag him in this episode so we can
I'm disappointed that none of them, I don't think it works because nobody in Johnny Sacco has reached out to us.
Oh, that's unfortunate. We're going to have to really make that push this time around.
Yeah, and if I ever get up to interviewing people, then I'll interview them.
Yeah, Trout. We got to get Trout. I got to try and reach out to him and see if we can get him on here. This week, what we're going to be doing on the Pickle and Boot Shop, episode 22, Dose, as they say in Germany, we're going to answer listener questions. So for the freebie part of this show, we are going to do listener questions. For the paid part, me and you have been video recording our makeout sessions with chicks. And so the paid portion of this show is going to be me making out with various girls, you making out with various girls, and...
Oh, you meant girls when you said
Yeah.
chicks.
Yeah.
I took that assignment the wrong way.
Okay, so you're making out with chickens,
Yeah.
like small ducklings.
Yep.
Okay.
That was a bad move.
Well, no, I mean, they could still prove fruitful. So if you pay for this, that's what you're going to be getting. But this freebie part, you guys get to answer. You get to listen to us answer listener questions. And this first question comes to us from Robbie Walker. Robbie Walker. Yep.
Did you miss that?
Yeah, I did. I really
Okay,
did.
let's hear it, Robbie. Let's go.
Robbie Walker and Daniel Lee, they both have this question to ask because I think we cut them deeply. Because they ask, why do we hate Indiana?
Oh.
Yeah. Why do we hate Indiana so bad? And in their question, they said, I've lived here for so long. I understand we have our issues that we deal with as a state, but overall, they're pretty excited about the state that they live in. They want to know why we hate Indiana so bad.
Man, that is a good question. I lived there. I lived there in 1983. My dad worked for the Stant Corporation, which makes and sells like automotive aftermarket products like gas caps and radiator caps and distributor caps. And so I lived in Connorsville, Indiana. And it was hot all the time and then overcast and cold, and it was filled with sadness. And the only joy was that there were ads almost constantly for Tom Raper RVs. That was the only joy I felt the whole time.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
And see, Robbie and Daniel, I am the opposite. I do not hate Indiana. I hate Florida and I hate Ohio. Indiana is good with me. I'm good with Indiana. Now, I think we can all agree that Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, is a horrible town, but it is what it is, right? It stinks. The only reason it's a horrible town is because it stinks. You can't drive through it with your windows down
Yeah.
because it has
Because of the refineries there.
yeah, it has an awful smell. But other than Indiana, I enjoy it. I'm a huge Notre Dame fan. Love Notre Dame football. Love Notre Dame hockey. Notre Dame basketball. Here's the funny thing. I'm not Catholic. So the Catholic end of it isn't like a big deal to me. I just love Notre Dame sports. I've grown up loving Notre Dame sports. So the campus of Notre Dame, Indianapolis, great town, great like restaurants. It's actually got like a really good like foodie scene in Indianapolis. I enjoy it. Yeah. I enjoy Indiana. It's I wouldn't say it's at the top of my list. Like I'm not gonna I almost lied. I was gonna say I wouldn't vacation there, but I would because I would take time out of I would take a weekend to go to South Bend and do like a football game or something like that. And I have done that. So I don't have an issue with Indiana, Robbie and Daniel. I enjoy it. Hate Reese because he doesn't like it.
Thank you, Joe.
So
you know
just,
what? I'm
just send
inspired
all
to
your
give
hate
it
mail.
another chance.
Yeah,
I'm going
you
to give
should.
Indiana another chance. I'll try and love it.
Yeah.
I'm with you, though, about Florida and Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just garbage states. I campaigned for the longest time with the insiders to just take a chainsaw to the border and kick it to Cuba. Like they can have Florida. That didn't garner a lot of worth.
No, they don't like it.
No, people didn't put
people who-
weight in that.
So many people love Florida. People
I
love it.
don't get it. I don't get it. People here in Michigan, I don't know if it's like that in Virginia, but people here in Michigan, like you turn 55, you retire, and you move to Florida.
Yeah.
They call them snowbirds. Do they call them that in Virginia?
They just, no.
They just call them old people.
old people. They call them old people here.
Yeah, they
You know
call
what?
them. They call them snowbirds because like they'll leave from October to March and then they come back. They migrate back. So like old people will like retire they'll sell their house, they'll downsize and get a little condo and then get a place in Florida with the money from selling their house and then they go back and forth, winter and summer. Spend their summers up here, winters down there, call them snowbirds.
I feel like this conversation is just making me have to analyze how many states I hate. And it's about half of them.
Yeah.
So either we can just go with that and we can just alienate half of our listeners, or I'll just shut up.
I'm down for either. Because I think
yeah.
by alienating, I think there's a reverse psychology there. I think by alienating, people want to listen more. They want to try harder for us to love them. To love them.
I'm going to tell you the states I hate then.
Do it.
Florida,
Boom.
Alabama,
1, 2,
Mississippi,
3,
Louisiana,
4,
Texas,
5,
Utah.
6.
Only because they're assholes. They're so pompous about like, hey, we've got the greatest snow on earth. No, you don't.
Who,
No, you
Utah?
don't. Yeah, they have like
I would
part
think
of Colorado
Alaska.
got stuck in their state, and they're like, it's the greatest. No, it's not. Nobody is like, Utah is what I think about when I think about skiing. It's not. So just shut up, Utah.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't
about
like
Utah
Kansas.
for anything like that. I would think Alaska is the reigning snow king in
Maybe.
the U.S.
I like Alaska.
With Colorado being second.
I like Minnesota. I like Wisconsin. I like Michigan. I used to like Ohio, and they gave me one too many tickets. 5 too many tickets. I like Massachusetts and Connecticut and New York
Connecticut?
and Vermont and New Hampshire.
Okay.
Maine is scary, but I don't like it. I like New Jersey. I like Pennsylvania, except that people drive bad.
I like New
like
Jersey
West
because the
Virginia.
Culps live there.
Yeah. New Jersey's cool. There's cool things in it.
Yeah.
For as much crap as people talk. Maryland is kind of iffy. I hate Virginia. I don't understand why there's a North and South Carolina. That's just a waste of states. Like, just make it one thing. It's all the same place, except they have pretty mountains. The ocean sucks. All of the Atlantic Ocean sucks. So nobody wants to go to that because it smells like dead fish. Fish have sex in that. And then
Ooh.
it's just tampons and
Ooh.
syringes on the beach and dead kelp.
It sounds like a good friend's hot tub.
All right, I'm done hating on all those states. I hate Arizona. Also.
Really? See, I don't have hate for all those states. I don't like Florida. And the reason I don't like Florida is I don't like Florida because I feel like all the buildings are pink. They paint the buildings pink. I don't like that. It's not a very soothing color for me. It gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
And I don't like the heat. So it's extremely hot, sweltering,
And humid.
Yeah. I don't like Florida because of that. I also don't
And
like
people drive awfully.
Yeah. And I don't like Ohio because Ohio, I think it's just a deep-seated hatred between Michigan people and people from Ohio. Now, if you want to get into sports, the University of Michigan and University of Ohio are huge rivals. I could care less about that. I hate the University of Michigan. And to tell you the truth, when the University of Michigan plays Ohio State, I root for Ohio State. However,
Wow.
as a state, I don't like it. Toledo, Ohio knows Toledo is Michigan's. Toledo is actually Michigan. So I enjoy Toledo. Everything else about Ohio, I do not like. I do not like the people, well, except our listeners. But sports fans, all that stuff, not a big fan of Ohio.
So maybe later we'll, like on another episode, we'll address all the things we found to like in Ohio. Like Toledo.
Tony Pacos, love Tony Pacos.
Cedar Point.
The Mud Hens Stadium.
I lived in Bowling Green. It's not a bad town.
They have the tractor pulls. That's where I saw my first pair of bare boobies.
Did you? Did you, Joe?
I did. I was probably 10 or 11 years old, and I went to the National Tractor Pull Championships. My dad and uncle took me and my cousin, and you can probably figure out the type of caliber woman that attends such an event. And they're like the type of women that attend national tractor pulling competitions. And people, if you don't know what that is, Google it. It's worth a look. They make
Then Google Mensa, because that's the type of people you're gonna find.
Yeah.
Right?
I think the women that attend the tractor pulls are the type of women that the girls that attend Motley Crue concerts can look down upon. So, yeah, it's that kind of a thing.
Joe, you were probably less than half a mile away from me when you went to the National Tractor
That would have been
Pulling
great.
Championships. We could have started a ska juggernaut right then, except I had never heard ska.
And bowling, I find it absolutely weird that Bowling Green University, their colors are orange, brown, and white. No green. Why would you not have green? You're Bowling Green University. It makes
Right.
zero sense. Your colors are, well, they used to be brown and orange, and now they're just orange and white.
No, it's still brown. They're just because the brown somehow the professors at Bowling Green State University were able to concoct like in a physics laboratory, fluorescent brown, and it was orange and fluorescent brown. If
Okay.
you've ever played the NCAA football game and you're
Oh,
like, I wonder what it's like to be on a really bad football team, and then you pick Bowling Green State University, that's what you see. You're like, why does this brown hurt my eyes to look at? So they've kind of toned it down a bit.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Well, so that hopefully that answers your question, Robbie and Daniel. Robbie Walker, Daniel Lee. Next question is from Jimmy. Let's see, Jimmy McWalding, and he asks, Kyle, what happened? So I know we haven't really talked about it on this show, and I'm not really gonna make light of it because it's a tragic situation, but the facts behind it and what you can find online about it is the insiders are guitar player Kyle Wassel. Once toward the end of before we broke up, say the first time, Kyle started going through some hard times and stuff like that. And when we broke up as a band, he moved to southern Indiana, outside like Bloomington, that area. He moved out. What I had heard was that he was living in a tent in the woods on some property that his family owned, and he did siding. Years go by, people who tried to contact him, anything like that. The only person that he stayed in touch with was Al Brown, our trumpet player. Al would go down and visit him, and Al would come back and say that Kyle's in a bad way, things like that. Pray for him, call him, try and get in touch with him, reach out. Those types of things. Then we found out a few years ago that Kyle was involved in the article that I read stated it was the largest portable crystal meth laboratory bust in Indiana state history. And so Kyle and a young lady and her mother were cooking meth and apparently selling it, doing that stuff. And so they had a mobile meth lab. And so he got busted. Yep. So he got busted. He got you can find him and his accomplices mugshots online. After that, it gets a little hazy. If you look as far as Indiana State Corrections, he is not incarcerated. And at one point, I was able to find something that said he had absconded, which means he had like a court date or a sentencing date, and he did not show up to it. So he just pieced out. So in my legal understanding, I do not believe that Kyle is incarcerated. I do not believe that he has been caught. I believe he is on the lam, if you will. And so he's out there. He's out there doing what what Kyle does. And so I believe if he is ever caught, he will be extradited to Indiana or something like that. But yeah, I don't think Kyle's doing too well. So Jimmy McWalding, that is the skinny on our guitar player Kyle Wassel. And again, none of this is anything that you couldn't find online. That's where I have to find it. I've heard a little as far as all those legal things. I've read that online because none of us have any other information. But the stuff prior to that, the only info that I would get would be through Al, who would go down and visit him maybe, once every 2 years or something like that. So that answers that question. Yeah, good old Al Brown. Let's see, Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones has a couple of questions. Reese has one for you. Since I just answered the last one, I'll ask yours. So Brandon Jones asks, Reese, what is your favorite side project, and will there be any releases anytime soon on any of them?
Does he mean my side projects or any side project?
Your side projects.
Oh, because
So
I
what-
was like, Freddie Mercury's solo album.
Right. So of yours, what is your favorite side project thus far? And then is there anything on the horizon? Are you going to be releasing anything anytime soon?
Yeah. So I'm working on this new wave project. I've actually been working on this for 17 years. So before I got married, I was like, you know what would be cool? I love the band The Faint, and I was listening to them, and I was like, man, I want to make something like that. I want to make new wave music. And that's becoming a trendy thing. So I have no job, so I've been totally hammering it out. That is called Heart Wrench. It used to be with Scott, our guitar player, and Matt from 11D7, who is our boss here at the Pickle and Boot Shop. So we had a project called Pool Party Death Machine, and we got into a disagreement on what it should sound like. I wanted more new wave, and they tend to go more poppy and more rock. So they made The Fast Feeling with Leonore and Andy. And then I just have been kind of picking apart this thing by myself. And it's just about ready to go. I could do a Kickstarter on it right this minute, except I've already done 2 this year, and I have to finish those rewards, or people will be angry with me.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
what's your favorite side project, Ben? Is it this, or what's your favorite side project, Ben, thus far?
Probably Guerrilla Rodeo, if that counted as a side project. That was supposed to be our main project. You know, if you guys listened to the episode where we interviewed Ethan, it was a lot of fun. It was, I mean, like I love Sonny and Ethan and Josh and John from Ace Troubleshooter. It was cool hanging out with them, and it was just very natural writing songs with them. But we only did it for like 3 days, and then 5 Iron went on tour, and then we broke up via email.
All right. So, Brandon, I hope that answers that question. The one that he has here for me, it says, what's the update, the insiders on the Fight of My Life album? I wrote a song called Forgive and Forget that was about my father, and he was asking what's the update with my father. The update is we mended fences a long time ago, right around the time that album came out, slightly before that album came out, so that would have been 97, 98. We kind of put everything behind us, and now I just got back from my dad that you met, Reese. Whenever we've talked about going up north and going up to the cottage up north, that's actually where my pops lives. And so, yeah, we just go up there. I have a good time with him. He's a good friend of mine. I can learn some lessons from him. And yeah, that's kind of it. Just a good friendly friendship relationship between my pops and I. And you know, you accept him for all his pluses and all his faults, and he does the same with me, I guess. So yeah, things are good between my dad and I. So thanks for asking, Brandon.
And if anybody needs to learn how to use a framing square, you need to go talk to Al Yerke.
Right, right.
He is ready.
He's ready to go, and especially when you talk about a no-no square, he can measure that out real well.
Very, very fast.
Yeah. Now, Reese, next question is for you. This is from Maya Richardson, man, I scribbled these names. So maybe it's Maya Rickham, Richem, maybe. But Maya, this is from her. And she asks you, Reese, have you ever had like major pushback on any lyrics? And so I'm going to take that a step farther and say, have you had any pushback from lyrics from bandmates, or have you had pushback on lyrics from record companies and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yes, to both. Like, so we've talked about it a little bit, that Frank Tate, you know, we were with in the early incarnation of 5 Iron when we were on a record label. Frank, he's completely cool with putting out anything. Like, as long as he knows your heart behind it, he would just be like, okay, well, it might get pulled off the shelves. You know, they're not going to like it in the Midwest. But, you know, we talked about a couple episodes ago about our newest album ever. Not our newest album ever, Upbeats and Beatdowns. It's our first album. It opens up with The Old West, and it's you know, like the chorus is like, let's rape, let's kill, let's steal. Like, it's making fun of Manifest Destiny, and he was like, I don't think you guys should put that on the album. Definitely not put it as the first song, but if you want to, I'm behind you. Like, if you feel like it's a good move, you guys can pray about it. So he was cool with that. There was not a lot of pushback. And we kind of learned to trust Frank. You know, like, at first we were just like, yeah, the record company's the enemy. and I think we just kind of learned that wasn't the case with Frank. You know, he didn't quite grasp the art part of music, but he totally got the business side, and his heart was in it. Like, he was not in it to exploit bands or make money. He was in it to tell kids about Christ, which was cool. So not much pushback there. Brave Saint Saturn on our second album, they advised me not to say It Hurts Like Hell, or Dennis said something in Heart Still Beats, and it ended up getting scratched out. So we were like, whatever, we'll email people the non-censored version if they want it. And we did, but it was more like us self-censoring. They were like, hey, we'll put this out, but it's not a good move. And it was Tyson, again, who still runs Tooth and Nail. He was like, you shouldn't do this. It's a bad move for you guys. You're going to lose sales. And so we were like, all right, well, it's not worth it to say hell. But like with the band, yes. I feel like we hit a point, I think, you know, just because 5 Minute Walk had this kind of MO where we would have to put out an album every year. That was like our business plan.
Right.
So we were selling more albums. I think the W's trounced us, you know, like their first album probably sold 500,000. But for us, you know, like our biggest seller was our newest album ever, and it maybe had sold like 250,000. The other albums got, you know, like maybe 70, 100,000, 150,000. And that was paying the bills, I think, at 5 Minute Walk. And for us too, you know, we had to, we had this say, you know, like kind of pledge that we would not charge more than $10 for a ticket. And if we had to, we'd have to vote on it. I think it was 15. And then we'd try and get them set at 10 or 15 and bring a can of soup or bring a pair of socks and stuff. We always did tours like that.
Yeah.
So for us, you know, like we just had this machine going where we were expected to put out an album a year. And you couldn't demo stuff on computers then. There was like these Tascam 4-track things that you could record on, but none of us had one of those. And it wasn't like we were writing stuff on the road usually. We would just get home for about a month and then have to try and write an album's worth of stuff. Or in between tours, we'd practice a little and work on some stuff, but it wasn't the best system. I don't think putting an album out a year is a good system either, because you just end up with mediocrity. But by the time we got to Five Iron Frenzy 2 Electric Boogaloo, which is our third full-length album, and we had a live album and an EP before that, the guys in the band were like upset at the stuff that was slipping through lyrically. You know, when 500 began, I don't think they cared. They were just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm worried about what I'm doing. As long as you make that noise with your mouth, people like it.
Yeah.
So they didn't care. And then, and then I think it became a thing. Like people were talking about what, what we were doing and how it sounded and our lyrics. And they would get questioned about the lyrics a lot. And so by the time we were doing that album, we decided, let's sit down together and go through the lyrics and make sure everybody's on board. Some of it was, it would be like suggesting, hey, I don't like this rhyme, or this word sounds too cerebral. It's just like, it sounds like you just whipped out the thesaurus for this, which is probably true. I was just like, what's a better way to say, I don't like anything, so we would just, so at that point, like for that and the next album, we sat down and kind of hashed over the lyrics. And then we kind of were able to do it with Engine of a Million Plots when we reformed. And then by this last album, not able to, because we don't live near each other. And I just did not have this like emotional energy in my life to send out various versions to everyone in the band of every song to say, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? It became super tedious. And it turned out just being like me and Scott going back and forth with stuff. But I think the greatest pushback I've ever had was on our new album that came out, Until This Shakes Apart. And it's just because I feel like two of the people in the band were like, hey, I don't like this. I don't feel right about all this anger, and they made good points. They were like, the world is angry right now.
Is
And you're
that
feeding
the
that.
overall of the album, or was this in one song?
The whole album, everything
Okay.
I was writing
Okay.
was just
You were just
super, like,
you were just a curmudgeon.
both middle fingers up, straight up. It's just, it's a lot of anger, and it's mostly directed at the church. I think that, but I've stepped back from it. It's done. I still like it. I still, I've softened a bunch, but I don't feel like that. What we said needs to be softened. I think those issues are still plaguing the church, and I feel like the two people that had the greatest issues with it, I kind of blew up on them and was like, one of them I was mad at for about 6 months. Like we did not talk.
Oh wow!
Not because I'm like silent treating them, but just because it was like we don't live near each other. We didn't have a chance to work it out. And I feel like I was under a lot of stress at work and just with life, with my marriage kind of falling apart. So it came out as a lot more angrier than it should have been. So we've made up, and I think those two people that disagreed with me, I think they agree with it. They see the point in what was said and
Okay.
that it was beneficial. So long story short, yes, I do get pushback.
Man, I know the question wasn't asked to me, but I give you mad props. I could not handle that. I could not handle going to the band, like, and reviewing all my lyrics. I could not do that. Like, I don't know if that's pride. I don't know if that's ego. Like, I don't know what that is. There is no way if I had to lay out all my lyrics and let the band go over them. It's kind of like the too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with like going to the studio and by the time, or again, the insiders, we always had everything ready by the time we went to the studio. So if we were writing and through the practicing process, someone heard something, Nate might say, what does that mean? What'd you mean by that? And then I could explain it. There was never an issue. I can think of one time like one time I said something and the guys were like Bo and Nate were like, you can't say that. And I think it was, I forget what song it was, but I had mentioned earlier, I'm a big Notre Dame fan. And so prior to Notre Dame football games, they go through this prayer. And this might be a Catholic thing, it might not be, but I don't know. But at the end of it, they say, like, Mother Mary, pray for us. Like, it is like kind of like the big thing at the end of the prayer. Well, me not being Catholic, I put in this thing, I think it was on our soundtrack to a Revolution. I want to say it was like, I think the song was called God Almighty. So it's like, God Almighty, be with us. But the original words were, God Almighty, pray for us. And so Nate and Bo were like, that can't happen. Like, we pray to God. God doesn't pray to anyone for us. So my thing is, I was like, well, I get that. I'm just saying, God, realize we're here, throw down a blessing for us. And they're like, well, if that's what you mean, then that's what you need to say. Because by saying, God, pray for us, that's saying that there's a higher, that God is praying to somebody else for us. So it was kind of semantics. And but I understood what they meant, and I don't think they understood what I meant. But now, 15, 20 years later, like looking back, I'm like, okay, they were right. I was wrong. And it's God Almighty be with us instead of pray for us. But yeah, that would have driven me nuts if I had to go through and everybody was like, I wouldn't rhyme that word. I do this with this. I do this with this. I do that. I'd be like, yeah, then sing. Then you can write and you can sing. That's how I would react.
I felt that at first. I was just like, absolutely not, dude. Like, people love our band because of the lyrics, and it's because of what I've been doing. Just shut up.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how to do my job.
Yeah.
But that's pride. Like, it's pride.
But is it?
And so it's straight up just my ego, and it's like ego in like the Freudian sense. Like it's the part of me that is developed to protect myself. And so if I come back and I'm saying something like that, I'm protecting myself from shame. And, like, I had to think about it. And really what would be most shameful for me is putting out something that hurt my friends, or putting out something that could have been better had I just listened to somebody's input. And I think that, like,
you're a better man than me.
Well, it took some thinking. It took a couple days of me just chewing on it. We didn't fight or anything. They were just like, hey, I would like to do this. And I just held my tongue, thought about it, and was like, you know what? Let's see how this goes. Let's just see. And it wasn't bad. Now it kind of is bad because we don't have the space for it. If I lived in Denver, it'd be a different story, and I would love it. But I think, like, it can be respectful. Like, I might say something like that. Like, hey, I don't like this drum fill. Can we do something that sounds bigger? That would be like me, not a drum player, but I'm like, let's make this transition bigger. And they could be just like, shut up, asshole. Or they could be like, well, Reese listens to a lot of pop music. Let's take this slant, because whatever he's thinking is going to make it sell more. And if they respect me enough to listen to things like that, then why can't I respect them enough to hear what they have to, what they have to say about the lyrics?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I understand. And by you saying that, I do agree. But then I would take it one step further and say, I would think it would be case by case scenario. Like, I'm not going to sit there and write an album, present it to everyone, and then let everyone pick through it and, all that stuff. But if there's, just like how I had said before, if I'm singing and someone's like, whoa, what was that you just said? Like, why are you saying that? Or, hey, do you think we can do more of a group chorus here or something like that? I think I would do that. But I kind of take the stance like what you had said, where you're like, dude, I think 500 fans love the lyrics that they expect from me. Like, I'm not going to tell Michael Jordan, hey, you should pass more. Like, MJ's going to do what MJ's going to do. I would think that's what it is with Reese Roper. Like,
Yeah, I'm not Michael Jordan. I'm not anywhere near the Michael Jordan of lyricists or singers.
but you
I can
understand what
still-
I'm saying, though. Like, as
Yeah.
far as, like, you compared to, like, say, Brad or Micah or Sonny, like, I'm guessing that people are more apt to say, like, I like Five Arm Frenzy because of their track record, and Reese's, like, lyrics that he writes, the goofy, quirky, like, lyrics or whatever, push the envelope. And then, so I would think that that's along the same lines of, like, the analogy or the metaphor that I use with, you're not going to tell somebody who's really good at what they do to do something different. I don't know. That's just me. But
Yeah.
but I also realize, like, the case by case. If I'm singing the song and they hear something and I need to explain it, or they think, could we say something different? I'm willing to listen. But there is no way, and I'm not saying this is what you did, but I'm just saying, in my mind, kind of the picture that was painted, I could never, like, set down 12 pieces of paper. These are the 12 songs. Here's all the lyrics for each song, and let the band go through them. And
Yeah.
there's no way that would happen. I'd be like, nah, I'm out. I am out. That
was my gut reaction, but I went against it, and I don't want to be that person, you know, like, I don't want to be a prideful person, and so I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna try it. I don't want to be prideful about this, and it worked. I feel like usually when there's misunderstanding or we get upset with each other, there's just miscommunication. You know, I
Yeah, as
feel
it
like
is with most
we can
people,
talk
yeah.
it out.
Yeah, as it is with most people.
Yeah. So that's the long answer for that
Well,
question.
we are almost at an hour here. I have a whole nother thing of questions that we can do another time. So we're going to bring this one to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow us at the Pickle and Boot Shop on Instagram, Pickle and Boot Shop on Facebook. But I'll tell you what, we don't do that as well as we should. If you guys want to help, we would love help as far as helping run our Facebook page. There's the Pickle and Boot Diabolical Discussion page. That is a fan page that is hilarious and does a great job. It'd be great to be able to partner with those guys if you're listening, to be able to each and every week put the show on there, get links on there, hashtags, tags, all that stuff. That's what me and you are really bad at doing. And so, but you guys,
It's the only thing we're bad at, though. John.
the only thing, everything else we are animals at.
Spot on.
So that is that. That's where you can reach us there. Hopefully you guys are realizing that if you message on Instagram or you message on Facebook, I'm getting back to you like within an hour. Being able to answer that, write down these questions for future stuff. It might not be on the very next one, but I save them and I hold them. And then when Reese and I don't feel like just going off a topic and we're like, you know what, let's answer some questions, we will definitely do that. And hopefully by the time you are hearing this, we have already had our first Zoom meeting, because we are recording this today. I think today is August 30th, and it is a Friday. And next Thursday, I believe we are doing our first Zoom call meeting with our Patreon subscribers. So you guys, make sure you subscribe to Patreon if you can do it. If you can't afford it, don't worry about it. Then just keep listening to the free stuff and we'll be good. But if you have a couple extra bucks, you want to kick it our way, you want to be able to get in on some Zoom call meetings. I know we're going to plan this kind of on the regular, maybe every couple of months or something like that. Feel free to do so. Reese, let them know where they can find us on Patreon and Twitter and all that stuff.
You can find us on Patreon by hitting the link that's attached to this, or you just go to Patreon and type in the Pickle and Boot Shop, and it comes up. You can email us at pickleandbootshop@gmail.com and hit us up on Twitter at capital P, capital B, Oot Shop, or at Pickle Boot Pod. who is our intern, who is named Danny, that we're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
One of our interns.
One of.
Also, help us out. We're going to infiltrate Satanism and end satanic podcasting by 2023.
Not only infiltrate, but take down. Just remember, you cut off the
Take
head,
down.
the body dies. Just remember that.
Yeah.
Just
You
remember.
cut off the body, just the body, like a part of it,
Yeah.
like maybe like the uvula of Satan.
You know what? You bring up a good, it's kind of like a glass half full. Like if you cut off the head, the body, are you more of a cut off the head and the body dies? Or are you more of you cut off the body from the rest of the head and it dies kind of guy?
Yeah, I have to think about this.
Yeah, it's like a whole chicken and the egg, a whole Zen thing. How many babies can you fit in a tire, you know?
Yeah.
So, well, you guys, that is episode 22, freebie portion of the Pickle and Boot Shop. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Reese and I have tried to stay sober this episode. We now have a 2-drink maximum because we found ourselves repeating
I thought
stories.
it was minimum, Joe.
Oh, yeah, we have a half gallon minimum, but we're trying to keep it together long enough to actually be semi-professional. So
As long as we don't say holy, HOLY, CRAP, we're okay.
then we're good with Mama Roper. Yeah, it's Mama Roper approved.
Yep.
So, all right, you guys, have a good one, have a good weekend, and we love you. We'll see you later.
Peace.
Peace. Pizza.
Peace. Pizza.
For more shows like this one, visit rockcandyrecordings.com.